Thank you for tuning in. You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio World. This is Women Empowerment Talk Radio, and I'm your host, Carmelle Bias. Oh, we are in the studio once again. Glad to be back. Yes, here in the studio once again. Thursday afternoon already. I tell you, time flies. But I'm glad to be back in the studio with you today. On the show, Women Empowerment Talk Radio. We are here with our guest, Miss Shannon Graves from Atlanta, Georgia, CEO and founder of Shanna Shine, LLC. Hey, Miss Shannon, how are you doing today?
I'm amazing. How are you?
Good. Glad to have you on the show. Before we jump into the interview this afternoon, I want to go ahead and definitely, give some updates about the work it is that we've been doing here with Women in Business Expo Group. For those of you that don't know, we have been working with Echo Glen Youth Detention Center. We are working on workshop number 4. Okay. It has been amazing. I mean, workshops number 1, 2, and 3 have been awesome. I want to give a big special thanks to those guest speakers that have come on out and been a part of those workshops for the young people. We've been inspiring them and motivating them, keeping them encouraged on entrepreneurship, and hopefully, creating a different career path, for these young people. So definitely want to give a big shout out, like I said, to those past guest speakers that have been a part of workshops 1 through 3. Also, looking forward to workshop number 4, which is our community resource workshop. If you are interested in playing a role in, inspiring young people, being a part of the workshop, definitely you can reach out to us. The email address is womeninbusinessexpogroup@yahoo.com. You can email us, let us know that you are interested. We're always looking for guest speakers for vendors, business owners, organizations, agencies, schools, those it is that offer second chance, opportunities for kids it is that are going to be released here soon, and maybe looking for employment. That's what it's all about, is being that support and that resource for the young people it is, to let them know that life is not over with. We all go through trials and tribulations. Things happen in life, but there's someone here definitely to support you. And that is Women in Business Expo Group. As I said, if you are interested in being a guest speaker or volunteering your time here to encourage, motivate, transform lives, do the work, we're here definitely. And you can email us, womeninbusinessexpogroup@yahoo.com. Also, y'all, don't forget, the website is complete. It is done. And we are definitely excited to share that news with you. For those of you that are interested, want to put your products and services out there to the community, let others know about the work it is that you're doing, you can definitely check out our website. That is wibeg.biz. You can go to the website there, create your own profile, do some amazing things on that website. Let others know about the work it is that you're doing. And you can also post your products and services up there. So that way, people, they can actually shop. This is an e-commerce site. So this is a marketplace here for us entrepreneurs to be able to, put our products and services out there, let others know about the work it is that we're doing. So again, you can check that website out. That's www.wibeg.biz. All right, y'all. I want to go ahead and introduce again our guest this afternoon. We're finishing up our health series here for the month of September. And I love focusing, on being a healthy business owner and kind of what it takes. So our guest here, Miss Shannon Graves, is all the way from Atlanta, Georgia here. And we're going to talk about, being a healthy business owner and kind of what it takes and touching on, some mental and emotional health here. So Miss Shannon, why don't you go ahead, introduce yourself, let our listeners know a little bit more about you.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Hello. My name is Shanna Graves, and my business is Shanna Shine, LLC. And so just to tell you a little bit about myself is I'm an author, speaker, and a coach, as well as a talk show host. And everything I speak about, everything that comes out of my mouth is related to mental health and personal development. And so I am based in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm from a small town called Warrenton, Georgia. And the best way to pronounce my name, I have to tell people this a lot, Shanna Banana. That's the pronunciation. So Shanna Shine or just Shanna.
All right, all right. Well, thank you for that. Yes. So why don't you go ahead? Let's get started here. I was reviewing your bio and your information. And there was one thing it is that stood out to me that maybe we didn't address initially in the
Mhm.
questions. And I do want to talk about this a little bit because this has been an epidemic, I think all around
Yeah.
here, not just in Seattle, but all around the United States. And one thing it is that stood out to me in your bio was that you mentioned that one time there, it sounds like you were homeless. Let's
Yes,
talk
ma'am.
about that. Yes. Yeah, so how did that occur? Let's talk about the transition.
Okay. It's kind of hard not to talk about that without talking about everything that led up to it.
Mhm,
But to just dive into it, I've got to a place in my life where I was lost. I was confused. I didn't know who I was. I didn't even know the path that I was on anymore. And that's because physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, I was broken. I was broken in all areas of my life, and financially. And so, coming out of a relationship, thinking I knew I had it, I figured I had it all together, but I didn't. And so everything led me to that path of being homeless. And some friends that I knew, they let me come and stay with them in their family. And so yeah, I was broken. I was lost, and I had no idea what I was going to do. And
mhm.
so no words, no
Yeah,
words really.
yes. Let me ask you this, and like I said, I do want to touch on this because this month is like I said, this is our health month,
Yes.
and this is where we focus on being a healthy business owner, what it takes, but also to kind of the steps of how we get there.
Mhm.
Can you tell our audience maybe, were there some signs, where that led up to this? To you being homeless and it seems like, maybe being in a place of where it sounds like you lost everything.
I did. I
Okay.
did.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. There was definitely some signs. For me, in my case, I want to say that so spiritually, my signs that I was facing was, Shanna, what are you doing? What are you doing? Where are you going? And I had to ask myself, who am I?
Mhm.
Because what I thought I knew of myself, it wasn't. It wasn't at all. Physically, my sign of I wasn't able to walk. It got to a point where physically I couldn't work. I couldn't work, and also we don't recognize that everything starts in the mind. And so what I mean by that, for example, if you're not feeling good, you could have a cold or whatever the case may be, it's all going to start in the mind. And if the mind is not right, it will trickle. It will affect you physically. I have to slow down sometimes. I can talk fast, but it can affect you physically. And so mentally, I wasn't right. I was all over the place, but I was pushing myself. I was pushing myself because I was telling myself, Shanna, if you do not work, you cannot survive. You cannot function in life. And so even though my mind was like, you need to stop, I was fighting that because I was like, if I don't push myself, then what am I going to do, Shanna? And so literally so many times I would wake up in pain because of my previous job. I would wake up in pain and I was like, Shanna, I got to go to work. I got to go to work. And so it got to the point where I'm limping. I'm limping around at work. My back hurt, my leg hurt. Um, my mind is everywhere. And on top of that, it got to the point where I couldn't even turn my neck. But I'm still going. I'm
Mhm.
still pushing. And, you know, then after a while, all of it just stopped. It all stopped. And of course, all of that ties in together mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. It all works together. Trust me, it all works together. And so when you're not well here, you may wonder why, you're getting sick a lot, why you're always in pain. Ask yourself, what is going on up here? So that's just something I wanted to say.
Right, right. Definitely. It starts in the mind, and our thoughts are very powerful.
Yes.
I believe that is that, everything starts in the mind. And, if sickness occurs or stress, whatever illness it may be, these are things it is that we can definitely, overcome mentally, and emotionally. Those two are, I believe, are tied together.
Yes, ma'am.
So yeah, yeah. Well, definitely, like I said, from reading your bio, it sounds like you experienced a lot, and went through a definite transition. Tell our listeners, what was the final breaking point for you when you finally said, enough is enough. Now I'm going to take the steps and do what I need to do to move forward, is what it sounded like.
Yes. So for me, I'm gonna tell you. So it was during the time I was homeless, and
Mhm.
before all of this transpired, me and my best friend, we said that we're gonna go on vacation, and we planned this out months ago. Okay, so how can you can't cancel a vacation, especially not a cruise that you've been planning, and so we was like, we need this, we're gonna go on vacation. And so the people I was staying with, they told me that, yes, Shona, you can move in with us, but we're gonna be selling our house soon. And I said, okay. And I had no idea what I was gonna do, but I literally was just taking it one day at a time. And so me and my best friend, we went on our vacation and came back. And so I was so excited. I was refreshed. And I was like, okay, Shanna, when we go back home, we're going to be good to go. And so I go back home. And when I walk in, the house is completely empty.
Wow.
I knew this ahead of time, but just seeing it, the house was completely empty. So this was a house that was on the market, literally. And when I went in my room, it was a bed and it was a dresser. That's it. And so I'm looking around the house and I'm just like, Shauna, you're literally living in a house that's on the market. And it
Mm.
was just me.
Mhm.
I wasn't mad. I wasn't upset with them. Not at all. I knew this was going to happen, but I didn't know it was going to happen that fast.
Mm.
And so all of my excitement that I just felt on my trip, being happy, it was gone like that. 2 hours later, and I'm like, okay, Shanna, so what are we going to do? I was just talking to myself. It was only me. And, I was like, there has to be more to my life.
Yeah.
This is not the end. I was crying, of course, but I
Mhm.
was like, this is not the end. And so I decided, you know what, Shanna, this is going to go in your book. Okay. This is going to go in your book. So what are you going to do? Are you going to sit here and just sit with this feeling? Or are you going to shift your perspective of what you see? And so I got on my phone and I started listening to Les Brown, Lisa Nichols. Those were the main two I listened to. I did listen to Tony Robbins as well,
Mhm.
but those are the main two people I listened to. And I retrained my brain for almost 2 months of just listening to Lisa Nichols and Les Browns and other motivational messages from different speakers.
Mhm.
And I said, Shanna, we're gonna get through this. We've been through so much. This is not the end.
Yeah.
And so literally it's not. One of my favorite quotes is original quote I came up with was, it's not about what you're saying to yourself. It's about what you're hearing even when your mouth isn't moving.
Mhm. Mm.
What's going on in your head when your mouth isn't moving? And I really had to reevaluate myself. What
Yeah.
have I been telling myself in my head and when I speak? It all ties together.
That's it. That's it. It's all about, renewing the mind, and especially when you're making such changes and transforming your life, And that's one good tip I think, to our listeners here this afternoon, is that it's all about renewing the mind. If it's entrepreneurship, a new career path, maybe family, whatever it is, it's all about renewing the mind. And like you said, the listening, to those positive messages, you know,
Yes.
getting the support it is that you need, during a time of need. So, Definitely that. Then that's what we want to share here on the show this afternoon is that, it's all about renewing the mind, getting that fresh start, especially when you're starting something new in life. So I'm glad and honored again to have you on the show with us this afternoon.
Thank
Why don't
you.
you let our listeners know? It sounds like though, but I want to just be clear here, is that sounds like from your experience was kind of your motivation here for actually starting your LLC. But why don't you go ahead, let our listeners know what was the inspiration, behind starting Shanna Shine LLC?
Um, so pretty much the seed has always been there. Okay. I just want to share that with those who are listening. There's a seed in you. Okay, and it is blossoming, it's developing. So for me, my seed has always been in me. I just didn't know what it was until, that turning point of what I just shared. And I was like, you know what? So I've been through so much, and I know that it's not for me.
Mhm.
I know that my story is not for me, it's for others. And so after overcoming all of that, I was like, I've been throughout the years, people would come to me and just share information with me. Strangers would just come up to me and just share their story. And now I didn't know why. I never knew why. But we connect. And so throughout life, we'll reach out to each other and they may call and tell me, Shanna, I'm dealing with this. How do I move forward? And so I've just been receiving that for years. And I
Mhm.
was like, you know what? I'm going to use my story to help people.
Yeah.
I'm going to use my story to inspire and to help people transform their shifting their way of thinking. And so Shanna Shine was born during that time of being homeless,
Mm.
literally. That's when everything just blossomed even the more. And I created Shanna Shine LLC and just being able to uplift people in need.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. Tell our listeners, Shanna Shine, exactly what that is. And then what is the mission, behind this organization? Tell our listeners.
Yes, ma'am. So Shanna Shine is, of course, me, but just the shine part is no matter what I do, no matter what area I'm in, whether I'm speaking on my show, whether I'm talking to someone, my life is to add value to the listener. And so, regardless, I'm shining and I don't mind sharing my story because with me sharing my story, I'm helping you. And so, I don't mind shining a light on myself. I don't mind sharing my story. And at the end of the day, I'm here to add value to those in need. And so, my mission is fostering one person at a time to become a better version of themselves by equipping them with tools and resources to live a bold and powerful life.
Wow. Yes. And that's definitely what's needed in this world today. Okay. So, for those of you that are out there, yes, that are looking for, it sounds like, maybe a life coach, some support, the resources. This is it, y'all. This is it. So you definitely want to be able to connect here. Why don't you go ahead and let our listeners know, I know from reading your bio, you do life coach and some consulting and everything. Is there a specialty area or niche consulting that you work with, something that is, you enjoy? What is that?
Yes, ma'am. So, for my coaching, I have three packages. One of them is um, mental health and personal development. That one is called Hurt to Healed. Okay. I also have another one where I help people with time management. I know that can be a challenge right now as well. And then I have a consistency. And so things you want to ask yourself, am I being productive? Or am I just being busy? That's the difference between being busy and being productive. So that's where the time management comes in that, and then the consistency. If you're having trouble reaching a goal,
Mhm.
whether you want it to lose weight or whether you want it to change your eating habits, or you want to write a book, but you haven't been able to start. What is stopping you? And
Right.
so those are the three packages that I have available. And so I do live. I'm very hands on, and
Mhm.
I'm gonna push you. I'm gonna push you. And so because I know it's very important and it's needed
Yeah.
especially during this time. So yes, ma'am.
Yes. So sounds to me like you offer that accountability partnership
Yes,
there.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's definitely what's needed when it comes to, entrepreneurship, and those it is that may be transforming their lives. Is it's important to have an accountability partner, someone that's going to keep you on track, someone it is that's going to ask you, are you moving forward today? What are you doing here? To get to your goal, to get to where it is that you're trying to be. So that's great, and I commend you for that because that's a tough job to be an accountability partner, y'all.
Yes, ma'am. It is. It is.
Yes, it definitely is, because you have to stay on that person, you have to make sure that they're doing, setting out to do what they said they were going to do. So
Yes.
it's definitely some work there. So like I said, again, I commend you on that work of
Thank
being, that accountability partner. Now you mentioned packages it is. Can you talk a little bit about maybe cost or price? If someone is interested, what would they what would they need to do, and how much are we looking at for cost?
Okay, so it all depends. So I do have one-on-one, and then I do have packages whether it's a group, whether it's a family gathering, or maybe it's just a bunch of friends and we just want to work on our friendship together. It really depends, and so I based it off of the package. So each package is different because it's based on the duration. My packages starts from 6 weeks to um, 4 months. And of course, it depends on what is needed and what the person may have. And so just starting out, like for a group package, and you want to do the management, it may be 300 a person. And I'm just giving you guys estimate. I'm not really looking at it right now, but I'm just giving you an estimate. And so whether you want to do one-on-one, the starting package is $750 a month. Okay. And so for those, you may be like, first off, there's a difference between coaching. There's a difference between a counselor.
Yeah.
And there's also a difference between a therapist. So you have to know which one do you need.
Hmm.
Okay. I help you with your now. I help you with your now so you can move forward. And so a lot of people may look at it as it's a luxury. It's a luxury to have a coach. There's a big difference. So I just do
Yeah.
want you to do your research on that to know the difference between the two. And so you may be like, what if I can't afford that? I have options. Okay, I do
Mm.
have options. I've literally created tools and resources. And what I mean by that is maybe you want to work with me, okay, but you can't afford it. This is actual workbook. Okay, I sit here and I share my story with you, and it's called reflective autobiography. Reflective autobiography called Walking into Uncertainty. That is the website, walkingintouncertainty.com. And so in this book, each chapter, you're going to have to answer the questions. There's questions after each chapter, giving you time to reflect. Okay, you may not be able to see it, but there's some lines in there. And so you're going to have to go through this and actually write the questions down, write the answers down to the question. You may not have the answer now, but it's okay. The feedback I've received is, you know what, I didn't even think about that question. For example, I share about chapter 1, and I share about my childhood and things I've had to face.
Yeah.
Being bullied, depression, suicidal thoughts and attempts,
Mm.
just wanting to be invisible, abandonment issues, neglect. It's a lot that I share.
Wow.
And so a lot may resonate with you or it may not. Something may resonate with you. And so each chapter, I have questions designed to help you shift your perspective, as well as to help you think about, wow, what is something that happened to me
Yeah.
in my past that stopped me from my now?
Mm.
We don't realize that things that happened in our past, it changed us. It
Yeah.
shifted us. At the end of the day, pain changes us
Yeah.
in a good way or a bad way. And so all I'm here to do is help you reflect. I'm here to bring it to light, especially for those who are ready to heal and move forward. And
That's
you may
it.
be like, what is healing? It's being in a place of peace
Yes.
and loving yourself, not needing validation from someone else. Going your own course. I could go deep into this, but
That's it. No, that's exactly it. I'm loving every word of it. For those of you that are just tuning in, you're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio World. This is Women Empowerment Talk Radio, and I'm your host, Carmelle Bias. And we are in the studio this afternoon with Miss Graves here. And we're just talking about mental and emotional health and inspiring, okay, those it is, that may be looking for some help. There may be someone out there, that's looking. Where do I turn? Which way do I go? Here it is, okay? Here it is. And there's
ma'am.
so much that goes on in the world today, where we need that support. We need to be able to openly talk about mental and emotional health, and this is the platform for it this afternoon here. So let me go ahead and ask. Now, Ms. Graves, I know from reading your bio and the information it is that we received, you also have a talk show too.
Yes, ma'am.
So not only author, I mean, life coach, speaker, but then also two talk show hosts. Tell our listeners about this talk show it is that you have.
Okay, so the talk show is called Girl Guess What? Okay, Girl Guess What? And pretty much we talk about mental health and personal development on one show. And it's me and my friend, me and my business partner. And the thing is to shed a light on topics and conversations that are not being talked about. And when you turn on the TV or you search YouTube, is it adding to you, or is it subtracting from you?
Mhm.
And so with our platform, we are here to talk about real life topics, real life conversations, and we don't mind opening up and just letting you know, hey, we're all hurting. We're all hurting. We're all dealing with something. But how about we come together to empower each other and to uplift each other and just share about these topics that we don't hear about?
Yes. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Miss Shanna, I want to thank you for your time this afternoon and being a part of Women Empowerment Talk Radio. Also want to thank the listeners for tuning in to Women Empowerment Talk Radio on Rainier Avenue Radio World. We thank y'all. Until next time.